out, you know, try it out during this period. Meaning just try to be guided by God during this period, you know, to try and get as much work as you can in. Don't freak yourself out, just do the best you can. You know, that's all you can really do anyway. So yeah, do your best and God will do the rest, guys. And believe me, guys, I'm gonna be going really hard this next 14 days. I really am gonna push it. So please push it with me. As I said, it's not a lot of time left. And I really just want to focus on my students doing well. Also, guys, as I said, I'm not going to be giving you guys tests during this time. I plan to give you guys tests on Saturday instead. I think that's fair. And then from now on, all classes, anything that we're doing, I want to have a workshop on the 3rd, Saturday, the 3rd. I want to have a workshop on that day where we just go through papers all day, right? We just go through material all day as much as we can. And of course, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, I'm still gonna be there to help. I might probably go live on YouTube on these days just to go over some questions. So I'm definitely gonna be there to help those days. And I'm gonna tell you guys what time, when to tune in, because truth is 2, 3, 4 days before an exam is really crucial still. It really is. So as I said, I'm gonna be pushing myself really hard to make sure you guys get it. And cool. So guys, let's just go through this paper now. So this one is really easy to me. It says 3.8 multiplied by 10 to the 2. Guys, 10 to the 2 is the same thing as 10 times 10. So this is 3.8 times 100. And then it says plus 1.7 times 10 to the 3. And guys, 10 to the 3 is the same thing as 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000, right? So yes, this is definitely 1,000. So it definitely would be 1.7 times 1,000 plus 3.8 times 100. So this would be 380 plus 1,700. Am I right? So when we add these guys, we're going to end up with 2,080. And then they want this answer to standard form. So 2,080, guys. If we need it to standard form, guys, remember standard form is always, the number has to always be between 1 and 10. So all we need to do, guys, is move the decimal place from here. There's a decimal place in front of this 0, by the way. And we're going to move it 1, 2, 3 spaces to the left. So the answer is going to be 2.08 times 10 to the negative 3. Why is it negative 3, guys? We'll move to the left. Oh, well, hold on. Sorry, it's not negative 3. It's positive 3. Yeah, it's positive 3. Sorry about that. And why is it positive 3, guys? It's because we moved to the left. If we're moving to the right, then it would be negative. So let me give you an example. If I had 0.004 and I needed to put this in standard form and I moved it to the right, then it would be negative instead. But in this case, it's definitely positive. And of course, 10 to the 3 is 1,000. So 2.08 times 1,000 would definitely give us a 2,080. So this is definitely right. So I'm just going to write it down here. My answer, and that's another thing too, guys, this is a good habit to have in exams. You can put answer is equal to 2.08 times 10 to the 3, right? I like to say answer when I'm doing math. I really like to say answer. So make that a habit, guys, that when you have your answer, put answer, you know. That's a good habit to have for exams. Cool. So I think that's perfectly cool. Let's move on now, guys. I think we're good with that one. I think it's kind of simple. So let's move on to the next one, 2.08 times 10 to the 3. That's the answer in standard form. So let's move on to the next question now, guys. Cool. And it says here, a half multiplied by 3/5, that's the numerator. And then the denominator is 3 and 1/2. So with these situations, guys, you know, I like to follow BOMDAS. And I also like to change everything to fractions. These are my 2 steps. that I always give for this, 1 and 2. So these are the two things that I think just make sense to do. Also, we'll have to multiply the top first, of course. We'll have to multiply before we divide in this case. So we're going to end up with 3 over 10, right? 5 times 2 would give us 3 over 10 divided by, this is the same thing as 7 over 2, right? So yeah, I want to write this another way. I rather write this as 3 over 10 divided by 7 over 2. I rather write it this way because it's easier. And then of course, all I need to do now is just flip the right side. So this is going to be 3 over 10 multiplied by 2 over 7. This is 1, this is 5, and then 1 times 3 would be 3 over 35. So that should be my answer, 3 over 35. As I said, guys, if this is your answer, just write A and S beside it. A and S. Yes, I like to write A and S as my answer, right? That's a good little habit to have. Cool. All right. And cool. Do you guys think this is good? We can move on. This was really easy, to be honest. It was so easy. It was so easy. So let's move on now. Easy peasy. So this is an interesting one, guys. It says express 6 as a binary number, right? 6 to the base 10. We need to put this in binary. Do you guys remember how to convert binary? I hope you do. It's really easy, guys. All you need to do is just divide through by 2. Cool. This is how you do it. So 2 goes into 6 how many times? 3 times, right? And leaves a remainder of 0. Right? Same thing here. So you check in for the remainders, guys, when you divide. 2 can go into 3 as well and leave 1, but a remainder 1. And then 2 can go into 1, leaving 0 with a remainder 1. So the answer for this, guys, you read it upwards as well. And we're reading it as 1, 1, 0 to the base 2 is equal to 6 to the base 10. So this is my answer. And yep, that's my answer. Easy, right? It's really easy, guys. You just have to divide by 2. You know, that's all you have to do to convert to binary. It's very easy. It's rather simple. Talia, how you feel about this one? It's okay?
It is.
Tajan, how you feeling, man?
Yes, sir.
Nice, guys. So, all right.
Real quick, Cody, how would you do decimal to binary? I mean binary to decimal.
Binary to decimal. Well, let's just talk about it really quickly before we move on to the next thing. It's kind of easy, Trey. Let me just give you an example. Suppose I have binary to decimal. Okay, so suppose I have 11011.11. I think this is a very good example to use. This 1 here is 1 multiplied by 2 to the 1. Well, 2 to the 0, sorry about that. This 1 here is plus, you gotta put a plus, 1 times 2 to the 1. This 0 here would be 0 times 2 to the 2. This 1 here would be 1 times 2 to the 3. And this 1 here is going to be 1 multiplied by 2 to the 4. So that covers the first couple. And when you do it in decimal mode now, guys, for this one, so this point here, you're gonna add this to. This would be 1 times 2 to the negative 1, which is the same thing as a half. So 1 times a half. And this would be plus 1 times 2 to the negative 2, which would be 1 times a quarter, right? 2 to the negative 2 is 1 over 2 squared, which is a quarter. So we would actually end up with, I'm just going to show you what this is. This is 11011.11 in base 2. In decimal form, this would be 1 times 2 to the 4 is 16 plus 8, right? So let me just show you up here as well to kind of show you. 16 plus 8 plus 0, this is a 0, plus 2 plus 1. And if we add all of these, 16 plus 8 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1, this would actually give us how much? 26, I think. Yeah, 26. And then we'll have to add these as well. So we'll have to add the half, and we'll have to add the quarter. So a half is the same thing as 0.5, and a quarter is the same thing as 0.25, right? So this is gonna end up being 26.75, and that would be the answer. Cool?
Okay, say less. Yeah.
So that's how you do it, guys. Just remember that every place is a product of 2. So the first one is 2 to the 0, which is equal to 1. So the first place is a 1. The next place is a 2. The next place is a 4. The next place is a 8, and the next place is a 16. This is a half. This is a quarter. This is 1. The next space, if there was a 1 here, would be 1/8. The next space would be 1/16, and that's how you do it, guys. You know.
I get it. One more thing before we move on. We don't really need to know base 4 and base 8 so hard.
It's on the syllabus. So it's on the syllabus, but
Okay.
truth is, I just don't think you can get it. You know what I mean? I just being honest with you.
Sir,
I just don't
was
think you
it
can
in the
get it.
topic?
Huh?
Was it in the list of topics?
No, which makes it even worse. So it wasn't in the list of topics, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. We need to have that list ready, you know. We need to have that list ready for sure. And I didn't see binary in it, so I don't think we should spend too much time. So guys, let's focus on the next question now. It says John bought a car for $65,000, right? So congratulations, John. And it says if the value of the car depreciates by 8% each year, how much will the car be worth at the end of 2 years? And I think this is really simple. So the depreciation formula, guys, it's always 1 minus the interest over 100 to the number of years multiplied by the principal. So that's all we have to do here, guys, to find out how much it costs at the end of 2 years. The principal is the amount the car costs, which is a 65,000. And then now all we have to do is do 1 minus 8%, 8 over 100 to the 2 years, right? That's all we have to do. Cool. And if we put that in our calculators, guys, we're going to end up with 65,000 times 1 minus 8 over 100 is 0.08. So you're going to end up with 0.92 here. Well, let me just put it 1 minus 0.08 squared, and then we're going to get 65,000 times 1 minus, well, no, I subtract them now, 0.92 squared. And I just have to put that in my calculator now to find the answer. Let me just do that for you guys. 65000. Well, no, let's find the 92.92 squared first. Okay, so 0.92 squared. And then we're gonna multiply that by 65,000. So the answer is, yeah, the answer is 55,016, and this is the answer, right? Simple. It's really simple, guys. And for those who don't remember the depreciation formula, this is it. This is it, guys. Remember, you can always watch the depreciation video if you need any help. If it was appreciation, guys, there would just be a plus here. That would be the only difference to find out how much it's appreciated by. But you can always check out the video I have on depreciation for this. Ariana, how you feel? This is okay?
Yes, sir.
Adrian, not too bad?
Good, sir.
All right, so let's move on now, guys, and let's look at this table. It says the table below shows the results obtained by a student in a CXC mathematics examination. The maximum mark for each paper is given in the third column of the table, right? And it says here, determine as a percentage the student's final mark for the mathematics examination. So the first paper is they got 55% out of 30. The second one they got 60% out of 50. And the last one they got 80% out of the 20. So let's just work that out. It's kind of really easy. 55% times the 30 plus 60% times the 50 plus 80% times the 20. So this zero cancel this one. This is going to be 165, right? 165 over 10. This is what you're gonna get, 165 over 10, which is the same thing as 16.5. Then these two zeros cancel, and I'm going to get 30 for that one. And then for the last one, these two zeros cancel as well, and I'm going to get 16. So when we add the three of these, this is going to be 62.5, I think. Is it? Yeah, 62.5 out of the 100. Yeah, so that's definitely the answer. 62.5 will definitely be your answer. Cool.
Yes.
All right, Romario, how are you feeling about this one? Not too bad?
Yes, sir. It's good.
Ariana, feeling okay? Jaden, manageable?
Yes, sir.
Chipped out halfway through there, but it looks manageable.
All right, so this is manageable, guys. I think this is okay. Let's move on from this one. And we're going to do this one. I think this is really simple. I think Tori had asked me for this and I gave the solution to him for this question. So it's really simple and it says, make X the subject to the formula. So Y is equal to X over 5 plus 3P. And I need to make X the subject to the formula. So it's really easy, guys. All we have to do now is, it says Y is equal to X over 5 plus 3P. I just need to make X a subject. So the first thing I want to do is say Y minus 3P. I need to carry this 3P over to the left side because I want to make X by itself. And this is going to be X over 5. And then I just need to multiply both sides by 5 now to get rid of the 5. And X is going to be equal to 5 times Y minus 3P in brackets. And this is the answer. I think this is really simple. Simple, right, guys? Trey, how is it? I think this was simple. I think I should send you guys some little questions like these.
Yeah, I got that. I got
Tajan, how you feel about this one?
I got that one.
It's good, sir.
All right. Nikolai, how you feel about this one, man?
I understand it better now.
Sorry, go ahead.
I understand it better.
You understand it better? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you'll need a video on it, Tajan, no problem. I have a video on this already, actually, so I don't mind sending a video on this into the group. And don't worry, guys, I'm actually gonna send you guys some of these little short questions moving forward, seeing that we only have 14 days left. So since we only have 14 days left, guys, don't worry, you're gonna do a couple of these questions. I'm gonna send them to you. Please just do them, try them out. They aren't too hard. We just need to do the revision now, guys. 14 days left, 2 weeks. Let's do the revision. So in this one now, guys, it says solve the following equation by factorization. So I have to factorize here. This is really easy, guys, like really, really easy. This is 2x squared minus 9x is equal to 0. And it says solve by using factorization. So how do we solve this, guys? The only thing we can do here is take an x out of it. That's all we can do. So we're going to end up with 2x minus 9 is equal to 0. And now we can solve, guys. How do we solve this? Well, there are only two situations we have here. Either x is equal to 0 or 2x minus 9 is equal to 0. That's all we can do. That's all we can do to solve this question. So these are the two situations. Either x is equal to 0, meaning this x here is equal to 0, or 2x minus 9 is equal to 0 because they're being multiplied by each other. So you can break them up like that. Cool. And we're going to say now, we'll have to solve for x in the other one. So we're going to say 2x is equal to 9 and x is equal to 9 over 2, right? 9 over 2 is the same thing as 4.5. So my answer would be that x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 4.5. Cool. And this solves this question. Sorry?
Would it be or and?
I would say and.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
It can be and. I mean, it can be and. But I would genuinely say or. I would say or because the thing is, the reason why it can't be and is because saying and would assume that you can put a 0 here and a 4.5 here as well. That's not really what you want to say, you know. You kind of want to say that either x can be 0, meaning you put 0 here and you end up with 0. Because that's the thing. Just look at it this way too, guys. If x is 0, right? X times 2x minus 9 is equal to 0. If x is 0, you'd have 0 times 2 times 0 minus 9 is equal to 0. And this would end up being 0 times minus 9, which is equal to 0, which is 0 is equal to 0. So that's right. Now, the other situation, guys, is if we put 4.5 in the same equation. So if we say 4.5 times 2 times 4.5, which is 9 minus 9 is equal to 0. And we're going to end up with the same situation. We're going to get 4.5 times 0 is equal to 0. And we're going to get 0 is equal to 0. So it's correct for both of these values. But suppose we put another value in there. I just trying to be smart now and just showing you guys how to be smart here. Suppose we put another value in there. Suppose we put 3 times 2 times 3 minus 9 is equal to 0. It's not going to be equal to 0, guys. It's going to be 3 times 6 minus 9, which is 3 times minus 3, which is minus 9. So I'm just trying to show you the only two values that you really have for this question to find x being 0 is either x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 4.5. There's no other equation that's going to give you this result. If you put any other number in there, you're not going to get 0. And the equation is not correct. Make sense? I think I explained this really well. I think I explained it to the best I could, best of my ability.
Yeah.
All right, so that figures this one out. And let's move on. I think we're okay now. Let me check with Tajan. Tajan, you feeling okay?
Yes,
Not
sir.
too bad, right? So, Nathan is here. I was wondering what's happening with Nathan, actually. I was concerned. Hey, Nathan, what's up, man? I'm happy to see you, bro. I'm happy to see you, Nathan. So, Nathan, you ready? So, guys, this one here says a farmer wishes to enclose. Let me just check what time it is as well. Okay, so a farmer wishes to enclose a rectangular plot with a wire fence. Cool. All right. It says the width of the plot is 3 meters long. So the width is 3 meters. Well, 3 meters less than the length. 3 meters less than the length. The width of the plot is 3 meters less than the length. Okay. So the width is L minus 3 meters, L minus 3. And the length is just the length. The length is the longer side, right? Here to here. and the width is here to here, right? So W is equal to L minus 3. And it says here, given that the enclosed area of the fence is 378 meters squared, show that F, is that F? Jano, I can't see. Is that F, guys?
Sir, that's L squared, isn't
Oh,
it?
sorry. Yeah, it's L squared. I'm so sorry. So it's L squared minus 3L minus 378 is equal to 0. Okay, so let's think about what they're trying to say here. Yes, let's just think about what they're trying to say here. Well, let me leave the rectangle there though. So they're trying to say we need to show that that is equal to that. And I think it's kind of really easy to show. This is the area, right? But the area for any rectangle, guys, is equal to length times width. Am I right? And in this case, the length is equal to L and the width is equal to L minus 3. Does that make sense? So the area is going to be equal to L squared minus 3L. And that's perfectly sensible. Am I right? I think this makes so much sense. And didn't they say that the area is equal to 378 meters squared? Yeah, they said it. So 378 meters squared, which is the area, is equal to L squared minus 3L. So all we need to do now, guys, is just carry this to the other side of the equation. Carry this to the other side of the equation, and we're going to end up with L squared minus 3L. Well, let me write it this way. 0 is equal to L squared minus 3L minus 378. And then, of course, we can show that the same thing, L squared minus 3L minus 378 is equal to 0. So I think this is really easy, guys. They're just asking you for the area, guys. And if you try to find the area, you will notice that the area is equal to L squared minus 3L. And you can just set it out just like that to show, right?
Sir, I have a question. Why did they put it equal to 0?
They're just trying to say here, let me just try to show you with even more detail. They're just trying to say here that the area is equal to the L squared minus the 3L. But they're just trying to show that the equation still satisfies itself. So 378 is definitely equal to L squared minus 3L, right? But they carried this over here, guys, to just try to see if you have common sense, to be honest. They're just trying to see if you have common sense. So when you carry this over to the right side, it ends up being minus 378, right? So they're just trying to see if you recognize that the left-hand side of the equation has to be equal to the right-hand side. And that's really just true, guys. When it comes to math, the left-hand side of the equation has to be equal to the right-hand side. So it's just a way of saying, is the left-hand side still equal to the right-hand side, given that the area is the length times the width? That's all. You know, it's just, it's a weird question. But that's all they're really asking you. You understand what I mean, Talia?
Yes, sir.
All right, Nathan, make sense to you?
Definitely.
All right, so this was really simple. Nikolai, making sense?
So wait, the answer came to being L squared minus 3L equals 378 because left-hand side equals right-hand side.
Yeah, that's all. That's all, guys. It's not really rocket science. You just need to show. It says show that, so you just need to show it. Find the area, and show it. That's all you really need to do. It's not really anything very difficult. You just need to show how you get the same equation, you know? And that's the only way, length times width. And they said the length is L and the width is L minus 3. So it's really easy. It's a breeze. So Nikolai, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nikolai, I think you have exams tomorrow. And I think you actually have a question like this coming on the exam, maybe. It's possible. So let's do it together. It says here the force F applied to an object is directly proportional to the extension E. So guys, do you guys remember the direct proportion formula? It's y is equal to kx. It's really easy. But in this case, guys, the F is going to be the y. The force F is directly proportional to the extension E, which is K. There's always a constant, guys, times the E. This is how you always do a direct proportion question, guys. This is the general formula for direct proportion. And the one that they mention first is always the Y, and the one that they mention second is always the E. Cool? Does that make sense?
All right.
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense. And then, cool. So we're good now. And this one now says the force F, yeah, that's it. And it says represent the information as an equation in terms of F, E, and an appropriate constant K. So that's exactly what we did here. F is equal to KE and we're done. That's the one mark. It's so easy, guys. Jeez, I'm peace. Easy, peasy, lemon squeezy. Jaden, easy, right?
Yeah, I can see it, sir.
Yeah, it's so easy, man. I mean, I think this is so easy. Tajan, easy. Trey?
Yeah.
Manageable. All right, so let's move on, guys. Cool. So let's move on. Let's finish up this now. It says the incomplete table below shows the corresponding values for F and E. So I have to write back the same equation. F is equal to KE. And it says using the equation, find the values of X and Y. So this is actually not bad at all, guys. All we have to do for this one, this is a good part 2 question still. All we have to do for this one, guys, is we just have to find the constant. So when F is equal to 8, E is equal to 0.2, right? So when F is equal to 8, K multiplied by 0.2 should satisfy the equation. So we can use this now, guys, to solve for K. So 0.2 times K is equal to 8. So K is equal to 8 divided by 0.2. Does that make sense? Make sense, guys? So 8 divided by 0.2 now will give us the constant, which is 40. So that's what our constant is, guys. K is equal to 40. And once we find this constant now, we can find the values of the other two. Remember, the equation is F is equal to KE. So in order to find the X here for this E, we have to use 25, which is the force, is equal to 40 times X. We don't know what X is. And in this case, 40X would be equal to 25. So X would be equal to 25 over 40. And I think that's the same thing as 5 over 8. Am I right? Yeah, I think that's the same thing as X is equal to 5 over 8, which is 0.625, I think. X is equal to 0.625. Yeah, and then this one now, the Y, F is equal to KE for the Y now. For the Y value, this would be Y is equal to K, which is still 40. Remember, the constant is 40, guys. 40 times E, which is 3.2, would give us the answer. So Y in this case would just be 40 times 3.2. And I think that's, it's definitely 122 over 10 times 40. I think it's 128. Am I right? I think so.
Yes, sir.
All right. So Yeah, I think it's 128. So y is equal to 128. Cool. Yeah, and I think that's perfectly cool. I think that's perfectly cool. And that's how we work it out, guys. The first thing we're always going to need to do in this situation, guys, is just find the constant. That's the first thing we need to do. And once we find this constant, guys, we can use any of the values in the formula, the same f is equal to ke, to find the other values. Cool. Does that make sense? Hope it makes sense, guys. Give me 1 second, guys. One moment, I want to use the bathroom. All right, guys, so let's move on from this now. I think we'll finish with number 2 now. Yeah, and we're moving on to number 3. So, Romario, you with me? It says draw a right angle triangle, guys. All we need to do is draw a right angle triangle. Romario, you remember how to do this, man? You draw a long line like this, guys. Draw a line straight up. Yeah, draw a line straight up, guys. ABC, so here would be ABC. So here would be right here. Measure 90 degrees here, guys, with your protractor. Or you can swing as well. You can definitely swing. You can swing like a compass here and then mark the 90 degrees. You know what I mean? That's a good way. You can use a compass and just swing. Oops. Use the compass and just swing. Mark your 90 degrees here, and that would give you 90 degrees. You'd mark one here, and then you'd use the middle, or you could use here and here as well. Then when you draw that now, this is B. B is definitely right there. And then let's say AB is 5 centimeters, right? AB is 5 centimeters. So we could put A here still. We could put A here if we want to, and have here as AB. And then we would draw a 60 degrees here. And when you draw that 60 degrees now, you just draw it to make sure it matches the point over there. We kind of draw it a little better. Yeah, so you draw 60 degrees there, and then you draw it through to make sure it matches the line here. And that will give you a triangle, right? That would definitely give you the triangle.
Sir,
Go ahead.
sir, but could you draw a 60-degree angle from there though? Wouldn't that be the 120 angle?
No, there's no 120 angle.
I mean, based on where you put the A there, that would be the 120.
There is no 120 angle. 90 degrees, 60 degrees, 30 degrees. There's no 120 angle.
Okay.
Yeah, think about it. There's no 120. Well, another thing, guys, it says here BAC. And always remember, guys, that the angle is in the middle here. So where it says ABC here, that means that the angle is at B. And for this one that says BAC is equal to 60 degrees, that means the angle is at A. So the 60-degree angle has to be here at A because A is in the middle. So that's why I need to put the 60 degrees where A is. Does that make sense? I really need to put it there.
Yeah, I drew it backwards though. So.
Yeah, if you draw it another way, it's fine, you know, but you just have to make sure that where the 60 degrees is, A is there. You have to make sure. Same thing, the C is actually where the 30 degrees is. So what I'm trying to say, guys, you don't want to draw it like this and put A here and C here, because that's not right, actually. You may lose a mark for that. You want to put A, as I said, A is in the middle here. So BAC is a 60 degrees. So this is A for sure. And this is C. Cool. Make sense, guys? And then, of course, you want to outline your triangle. So I would outline my triangle really bold. Try to make it bold as ever. And just label it. And after that, you're good. Cool. So Romario, make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So we're done with this. Let's move on to this now. So guys, this is really easy. The first part is really easy. And then the second part is monstrously hard. So we're ready for this one, guys. Express C in terms of A and B. So easy. Pythagoras Theorem says C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared, right? So it says express C. So we need to find C, not C squared. C is equal to the square root of A squared plus B squared. So this is the answer for this question. So guys, always remember Pythagoras theorem, C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. This is just a rule. You know, that's a rule everybody should know. It's on the formula sheet. You know, you can't miss it. You can't miss it. So this 1 mark, you should get this 1 mark. Okay, you need to just make C the subject of the formula. That's all. No, the marks down here, no. Believe me, God, I don't think, I really think this is just unreasonable for CXC to give. I don't think you're gonna get anything this hard in your exam, guys. It's unreasonable. Straight up, it's unreasonable. I'll just tell you straight, it's unreasonable. It's just hard. It's not something you're gonna get in the exam. I can guarantee you that. You're not gonna get it in the exam. Cool. But let's look at it same way. I still have to show you what's right? So this part was really easy. The answer here is C is equal to the square root of A squared plus B squared. But let's do the second part now, guys. I want to do the second part of this. Let me just explain it. So it says write in terms of A, B, and C expressions for sine theta and cos theta, right? So guys, one thing's for sure, the angle is right here. So yeah, it says write in terms of A and B sine theta and plus cos theta. So guys, remember trig rules. This is where the angle is. This is where A is. So this is the opposite side. This is the hypotenuse. And this is the adjacent side, right? Because the angle always points to the opposite side. Now sine theta, guys, would actually be opposite over hypotenuse. Does that make sense? Sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, right? But the hypotenuse here is C, guys. And the adjacent side, sorry, the opposite side is A. So this is A over C. And the cos now, cos is always adjacent over hypotenuse. Am I right? So the cos one would be B over C. And that's the answer for this part, guys. Write A and B in terms of sine, write in terms of A, B, and C expressions for sine theta plus cos theta. This is the expression. A over C plus B over C.
You know I did that.
Yeah. So this is good. If you did that, that's good. Yeah. But genuinely, as I said, I don't think you could get something so hard in the exam. But let's look at the last part now. The last part says, using the results from part A and part B, show that sine theta sine squared plus cos squared is equal to 1. So guys, we can definitely show that. We're going to end up with A over C squared plus B over C squared, right? So it's saying here, guys, we need to show that sine theta plus cos theta squared, both of them are squared now, is equal to 1. We need to show that it's equal to 1. So I'm going to show you guys how it's equal to 1 though. Let me rub this out and give some space for myself. So guys, that's how we do it. We're gonna put the same a plus c and b plus c, and we're going to square them. So we're going to end up with a squared over c squared plus b squared over c squared. And of course, this would be the same thing as a squared plus b squared over c squared. Am I right? When you square these guys, that's what you get, a squared over c squared plus b squared over c squared. Because we're squaring them, right? A over c times a over
Sir.
c is equal to a squared over c squared. Does that make sense?
Sir. Sir, c squared plus c squared is c squared?
Yeah, in this case, because it's the denominator. Think of it as like a fraction. 3
Oh,
over
okay,
4
okay,
plus
okay.
1 over 4 is equal to 4 over 4. Same thing here. That's the denominator. So yeah. Now we'll end up with a squared plus b squared over c squared. But guys, we already know that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So that's actually going to end up giving us c squared over c squared. And if you cancel c squared into c squared, you're gonna get 1, don't it? So this shows, guys, that sine theta squared plus cos theta squared is equal to 1. It does show it because when we square these two, we're gonna end up with c squared over c squared. This is going to end up being c squared over c squared, which is equal to 1. So that means that this is definitely equal to 1. Make sense? So guys, I know nobody would understand this, and I know, believe me when I say it's not worth the 2 marks for this part. Cool. If you see something like this in the exam, guys, and you don't know how to do it, move on. It's 2 marks. Cool. It's 2 marks. Move on. Learn to move on, guys. Especially in a math exam, you don't want to get caught up on something that's just 2 marks and you spend 30 minutes on that. You don't want to do that. So what would I do? I would genuinely leave this for last. That's how you do math, guys. You leave the hard stuff for last. You build yourself up and leave the hard stuff for last. Math is like bodybuilding, guys. Yeah, math is like bodybuilding. You have to start from the bottom, right? You can't start from benching 500 pounds if you can't manage. Am I right? So cool. So let's move on to number 4 now. We're not moving at a bad pace. I think we're moving on. I think we're doing okay. Aquino, you with me? I hope you're with me, bro. I think you're in the chat. I think you're here, but let's just do this together now. This is a function, guys. I hope you guys all remember functions. And it says here, find the value of x of which the function h of x is undefined. 2x plus 3 over 5 minus x. So guys, the only value where this is undefined, but by the way, guys, undefined means when something is being divided by 0. So that's what undefined means. When something is divided by 0, guys, it's undefined. So the only value that would give us a 0 in the denominator, guys, would be x is equal to 5, because we'd end up with 2 times 5 plus 3 over 5 minus 5, and this would actually give us 13 over 0, which is undefined. So what's the value of which this is undefined? X is equal to 5. That's the answer for sure. Trey, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Dalia, make sense?
Yeah.
Nathan?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. So we're going to do something called the inverse of a function. We've done it before, but let's do it again. So h of x is equal to 2x plus 3 over 5 minus x. But it says find an expression for the inverse. How do we do the inverse again, guys? Do you guys remember the steps? Trey, you remember the steps to find the inverse? Any at all?
You change it to y equals 2x plus 3 over 5 minus x.
All right, so the first step, guys, is let y equal to h of x. So let y equal to the function. So y is going to be equal to 2x plus 3 over 5 minus x. Tajan, you remember the second step? Tajan, you with me? If you don't remember the second step, bro, see it here. The second step when finding the inverse, guys, is to make x the subject of the formula. Cool. That's the second step. So now we need to make x a subject, guys. So we need to put things in terms of just x. How do we do this? I'm going to multiply both sides by 5 minus x. Because I need to take x out of that denominator. And I'm going to end up with 2x plus 3 is equal to 5 minus x times y. Then this would actually give me 2x plus 3 is equal to 5y minus xy. I'm going to put the x's together and leave the y's. So I'm going to get 2x minus xy is equal to 5y minus 3. So I put the number over here and I put x's together. Then all I have to do now, guys, is factor out an x out of these. And I'm going to get x times 2 minus y is equal to 5y minus 3. Then I just need to divide both sides by 2 minus y. And I'm going to end up with 2 minus y. This will cancel that. And x is going to be equal to, oh man, where did I put it? Oh man, I don't have no space. Well, no, let me put it down here. Okay. So x is going to be equal to 5y minus 3 over 2 minus y. That's the answer. Cool. No, well, it's not the answer. The last step, guys, the third step is to let the y equal to x. And we're going to say the inverse, which is h to the negative 1 of x is equal to 5x minus 3 over 2 minus x. So that's the answer, guys. Let me put the answer over here in white. The answer is h to the negative 1 of x is equal to 5x minus 3 over 2x. Well, 2 minus x, sorry. So guys, these are the 3 steps when finding the inverse. The first step is to let y equal to the function. The next step is to make x the subject of the formula, which we did. Then the last step is to let the y equal to an x, and then you write that the inverse is equal to the equation with the x in it. Cool. But don't worry about it, guys. I'm going to be sending you a short video on this as well, so you can remember how to do the inverse for the exam. So you should be good. Cool. And I'm going to just put it here, 5x minus 3 over 2 minus x. Cool. So that's the inverse. Cool. And that gives us 3 marks. So 3 marks, remember the 3 steps, guys. Y, let y equal to h of x. Make x a subject. Second step is make x a subject. Third step is let y be equal to x. And then you're going to say h to the negative 1 of x is equal to what you found. Cool. All right, so maybe we need to take a break though. We've been going kind of super hard. We've been going kind of hard still, but let's do this really quickly too. I think these are really easy to do. So guys, remember there's a formula that you need to know. I'll probably send it to you guys tonight still. Y is equal, well, not Y. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, guys, you just need to remember this formula. Cool, you need to remember it. And there's a graph here, guys, and it says, it shows a straight line, and there's a point P on the line. And it says here, using the graph, determine the gradient of the line. So it's kind of easy to determine the gradient, guys. We just need to use this point, the P. The P is at, where is that point? The X value is a 5 and the Y value is a 0. So that's X1 and Y1. And then I'm going to use this point up here still. I want to use that point. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this point is 0, 4. I'm going to use that point. Let me call this point P, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. Let's call it Q. So these are my 2 points, and this is my X2 and this is my Y2. And that's all I really need to find my gradient. So I'm going to end up with Y2, which is 4, minus Y1, which is 0, over X2, which is 0, minus 5. And this is going to end up being 4 over negative 5, which is the same thing as negative 4 over 5. So that's the gradient for this line, guys. M is equal to negative 4 over 5. So this is really easy. This is easy to me still. Let me check with Talia. Talia, easy?
Pardon me?
Is it easy? Is it okay? You see what I did?
Yeah,
I
it
use the
is.
gradient formula. And guys, remember, for any straight line, you can always use any 2 points on the line. So that's why I use these 2 points. Cool. So you always use any 2 points to find the gradient. Cool. Trey, not so bad.
So bad at all. No.
Romario, how are you feeling about this? Manageable?
Feeling, yes, sir.
Yeah, I think it's manageable. So the next thing they ask us now, guys, is find the equation of the line, right? So, guys, remember the equation of the line formula. We found the gradient, right? The gradient is negative 4 over 5. But remember, the equation of the line formula is y is equal to mx plus c, right? So we know the gradient is negative 4 over 5. So y is equal to negative 4 over 5 x plus c. And for the c, guys, remember that the c is always the y-intercept. So the c is always the number at the y, right? The number at the y is 4, which is right here, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the y-intercept, guys, is the point where the line cuts the y-axis. So c is always the y-intercept. So it cuts the y-axis at 4. So this c is definitely equal to 4. So the answer is y is equal to negative 4 over 5 x plus c. Well, plus 4, sorry. Plus 4. Because c is equal to 4, because we can see that on the y-intercept, right? So this is well easy to me. As I said, guys, easy peasy. So this is the equation of the line. The answer is y is equal to negative 4 over 5x, which is the gradient, x plus c, which is 4, the y-intercept. Cool. Nathan, make sense?
Yep.
Nikolai, making sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Adrian, making sense? So guys, the last one now, the last question now says, find the equation of the perpendicular line that passes through P. Cool? Yeah. Now this one kind of rough still. It kind of rough. I mean, it kind of easy still, but it just depends. Depends on how you view it. So we can go back up to the graph still. I mean, it's kind of easy to me still. The last part, this is 2 marks. I think it's kind of easy to me. Let me show you what I mean, guys. So guys, this is the equation of the line, right? We found it. This is the gradient, and this is the equation of the line. So if we want to find the perpendicular line, guys, remember that the perpendicular line for the gradient for the perpendicular line is always a negative reciprocal of the other gradient, right? So this would be, flip this, you're gonna end up with 5/4. And it's negative, so this was negative, so it's gonna become positive. So you're gonna end up with 5/4, which is the same thing as 1.25. So that's the gradient for the perpendicular line. So for the perpendicular line, y is equal to 1.25x plus c. The only problem with the perpendicular line now, guys, is that we need to find the c to find the answer. But it says here that the equation of the perpendicular line that passes through P. So they're trying to say that the perpendicular line point passes through here like that. Let me make it blue. Here, like that. But remember, the point for P, guys, is P at that point is 5 and 0. Am I correct? Does that make sense, guys? Make sense? I think it makes perfect sense.
Yes.
So once you get that now, you're good. All you have to do is say y is equal to 1.25. Well, not y, 0. We're gonna use that point. So this is y and this is x. We're gonna use this point. 0 is equal to 1.25 times 5 plus c. And 5 times 1.25, guys, is gonna give us 6.25, I think. So we're going to end up with 0 is equal to 6.25 plus c. So c is equal to 6.25. Well, negative 6.25, sorry. So my answer for the perpendicular line would be y is equal to 1.25x minus 6.25. Negative 6.25 is the gradient, is the y-intercept for that line. And the reason why it is, you can kind of see still, if you look on the graph, it kind of showing you that you're gonna end up with your y-intercept down here, though. So I think it matches and I think it makes sense. Nathan, it making sense to you? Romario, kind of rough? Ariana?
Yes, sir.
Adrian? So guys, we need a break. Let's finish up, guys. Let's finish strong. Let's go. Let's go, guys. God will get us through this. Of course, every time, 100% of the time. So guys, we reach number 5 now. Is everybody back with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Adrian, Nathan, Romario, Tajan.
Yes, sir.
Hey, where is Deshaun? That's a good question. Where is Deshaun? Not seen Deshaun at all. All right, so cool. Okay, so everybody seems to be here, but let's finish up. So it says here, guys, a survey conducted among 48 persons to find out what mobile network they use. So the table below shows the results of the survey, right? Cool. So the results of the survey says 20 people use Wiretech, 12 use Digilec, 10 use Ophone, and 6 use other, right? And it says here, if this information is to be represented on a pie chart, what is the angle for the sector that will be represented by Ophone? So this is really easy, guys. So if we add all of these together, cool. If we add all of these together, guys, the total, let me write total up here. The total for these is going to be 38. 10 plus 20 is 30. Well, no, not 38. 48. Cool. Yeah, 48. So the total is 48, guys, for all of the different types of persons using different types of phones. And it says, what's the sector for the O phone? So O phone is 10 out of 48. I would just multiply that by 360. And we would get our answer. Cool. Yeah, we'd get the answer then. And I think 360, can 48 go into 360, guys? I think it can. 360 divided by 48. Not completely. Not completely. But if we multiply this, guys, well, 12 can go into 48, am I right? 12 can go into 48?
4 times, yeah.
Yeah, 4 times. And 12 can go into 360.
30.
Yeah, 30 times. So I would end up with 30 times 10, which is 300 over 4. And 300 over 4 is the same thing as 75.
So 75 degrees.
So it would be 75 degrees for the O phone. So O phone, well, O-F-O-N-E, O phone would be 75 degrees. Cool. Yeah, O phone would be 75 degrees. And then it says here as well, using the circle below with the radius shown, represent the information in the table clearly on a pie chart. So guys, we kind of have to think about this one now. So O phone would be 75 degrees, and that makes perfect sense, right? So we can definitely draw 75 degrees. This would be 90 degrees. So 75 degrees would be about like that, right? So this would be the O phone section. This would be for the O phone at 75 degrees. But we'll have to think about the others, guys. We'll have to think about what the others would be as well. Cool. Yeah, I think this would be about 75. But we'll have to think about the others as well, guys. One is 12 over 48. One is 6 over 48, and one is 20. So it would be 12 over 48, which is times 360. That would be the next one. Then 20 over 48 times 360. And then the last one is how much? 6 over 48 times 360. So 12 goes into 48 4 times. So this is going to end up being 4 into 36 goes 90 degrees. So there will be another 90 degrees somewhere. So let's put a 90-degree one here. And I think that would represent, let's scroll up to see 12. That would be Digilec. So 90 degrees would be Digilec. Digilec would be 90 degrees, a 90-degree angle. Let me just draw a 90-degree better than that. So this one would be 90 degrees for the Digilec. And the other two are Wiretech and other, right? So the 20 would be Wiretech. And this one, the last one would be other. So this one would be Wiretech. And this one would be other. So 6 goes into 48 how many times? 8. And 1/8 of 360 would be 45 degrees. So there's one that's 45 degrees. And I think that would be like this. So there's a 45-degree angle for other. So other would be 45 degrees. And we don't even need to find the other one. The last one now is going to be 360 minus 90. That's 270 minus 75. That's 195. And then minus 45 would be 150. Yeah. So the last section, which is 150 degrees, is for the wire tech. Cool. And that would be the pie chart, guys. This would be perfect, actually. Yep, this would be perfect how I drew it. It looks good. It looks good. It looks good to me. Romario, manageable?
Yes,
Jaden,
sir.
makes sense? Nikolai?
I
I think it
just
makes
got
sense,
here,
guys.
but it looks like it makes sense.
Tajan, it makes sense? Focus, Jaden. Focus, man.
No, I had to do something on the break and I came back.
Okay, cool, cool. So guys, that covers the pie chart. I think that's really simple. Cool. Okay, so let's go down now. And it says, well done, Tajan. And it says, the incomplete table below shows the results obtained by 200 boys and 250 girls on a Spanish examination, right? So this is the situation, guys. 200 boys, 250 girls. Standard deviation is 8.2. I don't know the rest still. So it says here, calculate the probability that a girl receives a grade 1. So it's kind of obvious, 62 over 250 would be the probability. And if we work that out, guys, we can use a calculator still. It's 250 girls, so. But wow, when I really think about it, it's like they made it that only the girls did well. This is a weird table, but yo, I don't like this table at all still. It's like trying to say the girls doing better than the boys, you know? Kind of think this CXC, this really set away, man. I don't like this, but okay, so the probability that a girl would get a grade 1 is 0.248, which is basically the same thing as 24.8%. So that's the probability. And it makes sense, guys, because only 62 girls out of 250 got a grade 1. So that's the probability, right? So that was really easy. And the next one now, it says, what percentage of the boys who took the exam achieved grades 1 to 3? 1 to 3? There's a 1 there, man. There's a 1. Oh, you know how many boys got a 1?
Add 38, 34, and 5. So you subtract that from 200. And
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay. Okay. So guys, yeah, they're asking for the grades from 1 to 3, which is here to here. So it's 200 boys. So you can subtract the 30 and the 8, and that would give us 162 boys between grade 1, 2, and 3. So that makes sense. This is kind of simple, not too bad. It's just like a pattern, guys. You just need to say, oh, common sense, right? This is a common sense question still. So yeah, common sense from the table says 162 boys got 1, 2, or 3s. And it says what percentage of boys who took the exam got 1, 2s, and 3s. So if 162 boys got 1, 2s, and 3s out of the total, which is 200 boys, then that would be 162 over 200. times 100%. This 100 will cancel into this 2 times, and if we divide 162 by 2, we're going to get 81. So it's 81 boys. So this was a weird question, but it was kind of simple when you really think it out. You just have to look at the table, guys, and use common sense. Common sense prevails in this one. Yeah, you just have to look at the table.
81%, right?
Sorry, 81%, not 81 boys, 81%. 81% of the boys, sorry. 81% of the boys. Sorry about that, guys. Cool. 81%. Cool. So I think this is cool.
Sure.
I think this is okay. Go ahead, Adrian.
So go back over before you get the 162.
162. All right. So let me go over it one more time. So guys, it says here, find the percentage of boys who achieved the grades 1 to 3. But if we look at the table, guys, it's really the table that really helps us, you know. It says we don't know the amount of people who got 1s, 2s, or 3s. We don't know, but we know how much didn't got 4s or 5s. So the amount of boys that got 1s, 2s, and 3s would have to be 200 minus the 30 and the 8. So we know 162 boys got 1, 2, and 3. So for this section here, we know that the 3 of them added together would be 162 boys, because the rest is left. It's 200 boys, you know, so there's no other way to find it, right? So that gives us enough to find out the percentage. If 162 boys over 200 boys, if we multiply the percentage, we'd get 81% as the answer. Make sense, guys?
Yeah.
I think it makes perfect sense. So let's do the last thing now on this. It says here, considering the standard deviations in the table on page 18, compare the performance of boys to girls. Wow, standard deviation, really? Standard deviation 8.2, 6.3. Man, this is a hard question still. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Why would they ask you that? (8.2, 6.3). This is a weird one. It's a weird one. I'm not really getting the logic out of this. Trey, think you can manage this one? You guys were supposed to try this paper still?
Yeah, I know. I have an answer. I put something about the girls' standard deviation was closer to the expected average versus the boys' own due to the low standard deviation. And so the boys' standard deviation was further away from their expected average. Something like that.
That makes a lot of sense. That's very, very sound, actually. That's really very smart. But guys, this is one of those questions where, to be honest, it's not so easy, you know. Well, first of all, guys, standard deviation is usually around the expected average. So anytime your standard deviation is higher, so for the boys, it's 8.2 and the girls is 6.3. Sorry. Yes. So for the boys, the standard deviation, the SD, let's call it standard deviation, is equal to 8.3, and the girls, it's 6.2, right? So the answer for this, guys, is 6.3. I have it the wrong way around. Yeah, 6.3, and then 8.2. Cool, so this is the standard deviation, guys, right? Now, right, what makes this say who did better? So the fact that the standard deviation, the SD for the boys is bigger. This means, guys, that on the graph, most of the people didn't get what they expected to get. So because the standard deviation is bigger, guys, most boys didn't do as well. It's just that simple. Most boys did not do as well as expected. Right? And then same thing with the girls. Well, the girls only is lower, so the girls did better than the girls didn't do better than expected, but the girls did better than the boys because the standard deviation is lower. Meaning that the girls did better than the boys because they were closer to what was expected for them. Cool. They were definitely closer to what was expected for them. Cool. So that would be the answer for the 1 mark. That's all you really have to state. And that's good. But this is another thing to guys that, yo, if you don't know, leave it and come back to it. And then you think it out and put an answer. But if it's too hard to you and it's just 1 mark, move on, you know. So guys, let's finish strong, right? Almost done. Number 6, number 7, and that's it. So let's look at this one, guys. It says the diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows an open cylindrical container made of metal with a circular base and a uniform thickness throughout. The length of the container from the top to the bottom is 120 centimeters, and the inner and outer radii are 14 centimeters and 15 centimeters respectively. Draw a cross-sectional view of the container showing the measurements of the inner and outer radii. Well, I would draw it like this. Sorry, I draw it like this. Yeah, and I would say the radii here is equal to, what did I say again? 14 and 15, right? 14 and 15 centimeters. So the one here is 7 centimeters, and then the other radii right here is 7.5 centimeters. That's what I would draw. So just think of it like a thermos, guys, you know? Yeah, you need to think of it as almost like a thermos. Okay, so the inner radii is 14. Okay, cool. So sorry about that, guys. I thought it was the diameter. Let me change it. Oops, sorry. So yes, so they said that the inner one is 14. So the inner one will be 14 centimeters. And then the outer one, which is from here to here, would be 15 centimeters. So guys, just think of it as like a thermos, you know, like a thermos that you drink from. Think of it as something like that, guys. And usually a thermos has like a thin film in it, right? For you to keep stuff warm. So think of it that way. And I would definitely draw it just like this. I would show that my radius, maybe I'd make it different colors or something. Maybe I should make this one a different color. So the longer one is 15 centimeters here, and the short one is, let me make it red. The short one is 14. And yeah, that would be it. That would definitely be it for my 2 marks. Yeah, that would be my 2 marks. I'd be done. And then the next part now says, show that the capacity of the container is this, right? So this makes perfect sense now. To find the volume of any container, guys, the volume is equal to pi r squared h. Cool. So we need to find the volume. So what I would do is I would find the volume for the big one. So I would say pi r squared 15 squared. Pi times 15 squared times the height is 120. Remember I said that the height of the container is 120 centimeters anyway. So 120. So that would be the outer part. I'd find that this would end up being V is equal to 22/7 times 15 squared is 225 times 120. Is it 225? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I'd find my volume. Let me find my volume. Let's work it out, guys. We're doing it together. We're working these out, guys. So 22 times 225. Oops. 22 times 225 times 120 divided by 7. All right, so that's my volume for the outer circle. That's my volume for the outside. So this is 84857.142. Cool. Then I'm going to find the volume for the inside, which is pi times 14 squared times 120. And this would be equal to 22/7 times 14 squared times 120. I'm not sure what 14 squared is though, so let me work that out. So 14 times 14 would give me 14 squared.
196.
14 times 14 is 196. And then I'd multiply that by 22. And then I'd multiply it by 120. And then I'd divide this by 7. And this would give me 73, volume is equal to 73920. Cool. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Let me think about it. Oh, holy crap. I didn't think of that though. I didn't think of that at all. Does that make any sense though? That doesn't really make any sense to me. 120, 120. That's the outer circle. So the inner is 1 centimeter in. Oh, I get it, guys. All right, guys. So guys, basically this shouldn't be 120. This is actually gonna be 119. I think this was kind of hard though, to be honest. 119. And the reason why it's 119, guys, is because of the space. This space here is just 1 centimeter. So it would actually make the inside of the thermos shorter, 1 centimeter shorter. So this wouldn't be 73,920. This would actually be 73,304. So this is the answer for this one over here. So the answer for the inside of the thermos is 73,304. That's the answer. And the answer for the outside of the thermos, determine the volume of the material used to make the container, that would be this. So I actually did the second question, the second part C. I did it earlier. So part C is actually this, 84,857.142. That's the volume of the outside. This is the volume of the outside for sure. But the volume of the inside, guys, we'll have to subtract a 1 from this 120 and multiply it by 14 squared, and that would give us the answer, this answer here. So this wasn't too easy still. I'm not gonna lie. Trey, how you felt about this one? How you feel? Tajan, how was this one to you as well?
Sir, that the volume, the answer on the sorry, the answer on the left is the volume of the material. Wouldn't the material just be the outer circle?
Yeah, it definitely is the outer circle, which is why it's the 15 squared times the 120 times the 22/7. But for the inner circle, it's 14 squared pi, and it's 119 for the inner because of the 1 centimeter difference.
Sir, but it's asking for the material. So wouldn't that just be like, why would it be the 15? Isn't the 15 like all of that?
No, it represents the outside. So for the 15, it represents what's on the outside of the circle. So let me scroll up a bit. It would represent here. For the 15, it would represent here, right on the outside or the edge of it, for sure. So it's basically the outside of the thermos. This one was kind of challenging, to be honest.
I'm confused because you drew the line from the center of the thing to the very end.
I did, yeah, but that's what you want. That's what you want. You want it. That it says the material, so determine the volume of the material. It would be the material of the outside for sure. It would have to be what's on the outside. Like it matches exactly the outside. Does that make sense? Does it make sense to me?
Kind of.
Yeah, it's the capacity of the outside, not the inside. So that's part C, guys. Part C down here says determine the volume of the material used. That would be the outer side, the outer part, which is here. Cool. That would be the outer part. For sure. Yeah, so that's it, guys. That one was kind of difficult still. All right, so this one says here, given that the density of the material used to make the container is 2.2 grams per centimeters cubed, determine the mass over the volume. This is a ridiculous question. I'm not gonna lie, this question hard, man. I don't think this was very easy to understand. I really don't think so at all. Yeah, this is a hard one still. Straight up, this one is a hard question. It's a hard question. Yeah, this is such a difficult question, guys. So guys, what they're actually asking you for here, guys, it's so strange, isn't it? They want to actually ask you for the density, they say is 2.2. It's actually equal to the mass over the volume. But the volume here, guys, is the actual volume for the container, which is 84857.14 minus 73304. And if you subtract those two, your volume for the container itself would actually be 11,553. So this one is just weird. I'm being honest, this is really hard now. I would just be like, wow, you know, why so much for this question? This was too much. They OD'd this one, to be honest. I think they really overdid it. Mark you, if I was a physics student, I'd get it, but for a math student, this is really unreasonable. It's an unreasonable question. So it's actually 2.2 over 11553, and then the mass would be equal to 11553 times 2.2. That would give us the answer for the mass. They're actually asking us to find the mass here. And the mass would definitely be 25,416.6. And this is definitely in grams, right? Grams for sure. So if we wanted this in kilograms, this would be 25.4166 kilograms. But guys, as I said, this one was really rough still. This is one of those questions where it's better to just do everything else, to be honest. I think everything but this part. I think this part was okay, and this part was okay too. The first part was okay. This was the easiest part, the 2 marks here. This part, kind of rough, to be honest. This part to me was easier because you can tell it's the outside, but this part, this is rough, not easy. Not easy. We need to do more questions like number 6. And we've done number 6 questions before, but never seen one this hard, to be honest. Never seen one this hard. So guys, let's pre this though. Let's pre this. Last thing before we go, guys, I think it's kind of easy. And it's 10 marks, 10 whole marks for something very, very simple. So it says here, a sequence of figures is made from joining polygons with sides of unit length. The first 3 sides in the sequence are shown below. So guys, you can kind of obviously see what would figure 4 be like. Let me draw it for you. You're gonna have 4 in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you draw it like this. This one was easy still. Yeah. 4 hoses this time, right? And that would be answer. I think it's really easy. So draw figure 4. This is how figure 4 looks, just like this. Figure 4. Right? So this is really easy. Just draw that. Determine the next one in the sequence, and that will give you 2 marks. And it says here, study the patterns of the numbers in each row in the table below. And each row relates to one of the figures in the sequence of figures on page 23, right? So some of the rows have not been included in the table. And it's kind of cool because you can kind of just see the patterns anyway. You don't necessarily need to see it. So from the pattern I can see, guys, it's clearly 1, 2, 3, 4. The middle one is always 2, and this one is increasing by 2, so this one would be 8. So you can see, guys, the pattern is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The middle is 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And the other one is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. So that's the pattern, guys. That's the pattern we can see. So if we had a 6, guys, it's really obvious that this would be 6 plus 2 plus yeah, I think this would be 12, right? Yeah, I think it would be 12. I noticed that this number is always 2 times. So this here, guys, is always half of this one. That's another pattern. So I can see 6 plus 2 plus 12, which is 20. That's kind of really obvious to see for me. Which one would give me 65? Let me try 10. So 10 plus 2 plus 20. No, that wouldn't give me 65. Let me try another. Let me try 15. 15. 15 plus 2 plus 30. That would be 45, 47. It's still too small. So let me try another one. Let me try 18. I kind of think 18 is close. 18 plus 2 plus 36. This would be 20, 56, still not there yet. Let me just try 20 then. 20 plus 2 plus 40, that's 62. So it's definitely 21. It's definitely 21 then. So 21 would be 21 plus 2 plus 42. And that would be 65 for sure. 21 plus 2 plus 42. Which is 65. Cool. So that one is 21. And then the last one, no, it's going to say find the values for n, right? Like what would n be if the case was n, right? So what would n be? N would be n plus 2 plus 2n for sure. That would be the answer for n. So it's always n, whatever the number is, plus 2 times the number. So that would be it, n plus 2 plus 2n. And that would be the pattern. And that would give me 6 marks, 8 marks. Yeah, that would give me 8 marks. And I will be done with the table. That would be it. Cool. So guys, look at this type of question. You're definitely getting a question like this in the exam. Definitely, no doubt. So try to look into these type of questions. Cool. And the last thing now says, show that no figure can have a perimeter of 100 units. All right, so let's look at that. So remember, guys, the last one is n plus 2 plus 2n. So yeah, if we have 100 here, and we're going to get 100 plus 2 plus 200. No perimeter of 100, no figure can have a perimeter of 100 units. Oh, 100 units. Okay, cool. So this is simple. So guys, all we have to do for this one is say n plus 2 plus 2n is equal to 100. And this would be 3n plus 2 is equal to 100, which would mean 3n is equal to 100 minus 2. 3n is equal to 98. N is equal to 98 divided by 3. If you divide 98 by 3, guys, you're not going to get a whole number. You're not going to get a whole number at all. And that's why there's no number for it. So 98 divided by 3 is 32.666. 32.666. And there are no decimals here. It has to be a number. So yeah, definitely there's no value for 100 units. There's no value for 100 units. Cool. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
All right. So guys,